All right, cool. For the record, say and spell your first and last name.
Brandy Nix, BRANDYNIX.
Okay, and Eric?
Eric Nix, ERICNIX.
Brandy, talk to me one more time, please.
Brandy Nix.
Okay. I'm just upping my microphone.
I feel like I'm on Intervention. You watch that show where they spell their name?
It's a great show.
Well, you know, you just got to have it on the tape. And I believe you me. There's still times when people are giving it to me and we still get it wrong.
Liability.
So, yeah. Well, you know, you try to cut everything out. So if it happens to go through somebody else's hands or whatever, they can't say, oh, I didn't know that there was an X in Nix.
Yeah.
I thought it was CKS.
Yeah.
All right. I'll indicate who I'm asking the question to, and then if once one of you's answered and the other one wants to jump in, that's great. Just don't talk over each other, okay?
Okay.
So Eric, I'll actually start with you. You know, finances. This story is all about people that decide that, you know, they've got too much debt, this, that, and the other. They're just up to their eyeballs. They want to eliminate the debt, so they do what's called a debt diet. And just like a lot of diets, you know, it doesn't work out once you go off of it. You have had a lot of success maintaining a household budget. And from what your wife says, you're pretty much a stickler about money. Talk to me a little bit about, I guess, the choices that you made to run your household on a very concise budget and how you maintain that.
Okay. When Brandy and I first got married, we decided that we wanted to go ahead and get rid of our credit card debt because we had amassed a considerable amount in college, getting, you know, books, tuition, food, paying for gas, etc. It all kind of added up in college. So when we got married, we decided we're going to consolidate our credit cards and we're going to get a plan to pay them off. We actually started off with the Dave Ramsey book and went through his series of getting the debt snowball going. And so we got our credit cards paid off in several years, and at that point we decided to go ahead and start saving. So I already had a good job then. Brandy had just taken a job as well, so we decided let's start putting money into 401k. We started at the maximum 15%, and we've maintained that through the entire time we've worked at the different jobs. Well, all the other things that we did to help our finances were I set up multiple accounts for us outside of checking. We also have a Roth IRA for each one of us. We have a joint mutual fund that we keep, and we also have multiple savings accounts that we do auto deductions to every month. For example, we have one that's called our primary savings. That's our money to dip into if one of us loses a job or there's a significant event that happens and we need a lot of money at one time. We don't have to go into debt to use that money. It's already there. We've saved. We're ready for that event. We also have other funds for events that are going to happen. A good example is an air conditioner. Our air conditioner is about 8 years old. At some point we know that it's going to go out, so we've started putting aside $100 a month to save up for that air conditioner whenever it needs to be replaced. About $5,000, so figure about 5 years to save up for it. We also have a vacation fund that we put money into automatically, and that fund accrues over time. It gives us the ability to go on vacation without spending a dime on a credit card. It all comes out of money that we already have. And the way that we do this, like I said before, is auto deductions every month. I have it set up to where we give, for example, $50 every pay period goes to primary savings, $50 goes to the air conditioner fund, $50 goes to each Roth IRA, and so on. It comes out every month. It comes out when I get paid, so I really don't notice the money's gone. On top of that, to maintain the lifestyle that we have and still have fun, we manage our money in that we have goals each month we're looking for. And the way that we create our goals is that you use a month where your spending is normal. Use that as your baseline. As long as you stay within what your budget should be, that's your baseline. The next month, base it on that. If you spent $300 on gas, then your next gas budget should be around $300. If you spend around say $1,000 a year on clothes, then divide that $1,000 by 12 and that'll give you your approximate monthly budget for clothes. It's very easy to do as long as you come up with a baseline of this is about how much we spend and follow it, and then take the extra money and put it into savings. Don't go out to eat all the time. Don't do a lot of extraneous spending. You need to really save your money for when you're going to retire, because when you retire, you might not have a steady income of what you're making right now.
When you guys were discussing this, you said you picked up the Dave Ramsey book.
Yes.
Did you already have like a background in finance or college or anything like that to sort of teach you about diversifying your money like this?
I did not. I learned it from my father. My background is in engineering.
So your dad was a positive role model for you then?
Yes.
Let me ask you, and I'll get to Brandy here in a second because I know she's got some thoughts. But, when you're talking to your friends and stuff like that, the guys that you work with and everything like that, do you see that, is it hard for you sometimes to see the way, people that spend their money and not to try to give them advice on, hey, are you sure you really ought to be doing that? Because you hear people talk about, it's like, oh man, we're hurting so bad, and then they go out for beer that night, that kind of thing.
I hear it every day at work. People will say, well, we don't have any money, I don't know what we're going to do, and they're the people that will go out to eat every day. They'll come in with Starbucks every day. It's a recipe for disaster.
Really, the success here that you guys have had has been you've got a budget, and you stick to your budget, and you don't waver on that budget.
Right.
Brandy, how are you?
I'm good.
So, I know your friends. Mm-hmm. I'm married to one of them. You got some fun girlfriends out there. They like to get together. They like to do a lot of stuff. Is it hard for you sometimes? Because I know that you probably want to do more with them. Mm-hmm. To say, you know what, I'm going to pass on this one, but I'll catch you next time.
Yeah, it can be, and but Eric typically is the frugal one in the relationship. So whenever there is an event coming up, typically I will go to Eric and say, hey, my friends are, we're wanting to go out to eat and go do karaoke or whatever, and we'll kind of discuss it and look at what the month has looked like, and if we've done good with the budget, then typically he's like, yeah, go have fun. Right. And but at the same time, I still don't go overboard. I mean, whenever I don't get alcohol when I go out to eat, just because, that's a lot of money. I don't go and get dessert, I just go and try to focus on having fun with my friends rather than spending a lot of money.
Do your friends understand? Do they ever ask you for, just your thoughts on different things when you're because, you guys have a pretty nice place, obviously. You guys have worked very hard to be where you are at. So do you ever have to find that you're trying to explain to them the reason why, or do they give you a hard time about it at all?
Not really a hard time, but I think sometimes they're kind of disappointed that I can't come out and do all the stuff. And I kind of feel the same way, but in the end, I know that, we're doing what we need to do to stay debt-free, because we did have credit card debt for a while, and it was not a fun place to be, having that bill every month.
Right.
So
talk a little bit about the feeling as you were paying those bills down, as you were, because the Dave Ramsey model, you're tackling your lowest amount of debt first and then getting rid of that. Mm-hmm. What is that satisfaction like as you start seeing some of this debt come away?
Well, I know that mainly it was just, we had some credit card debt, and we consolidated it all into one, card, so that we had one bill. And then I bought a car, 3 years ago? And I think we actually ended up paying it off in about 2 years, or a year and a half. Just because all of our extra money we just pushed towards the car. And whenever we got a tax return, instead of going on vacation, we'd put it towards the car. And anyway, that was the best feeling in the world when we paid that off early. And now, the car's mine, and I'm going to keep it till it falls apart.
Yeah, and that's a big part of what you guys do. Because if I recall, at one point you were driving what was it, like a 15-year-old Maxima or something?
Eric was, yeah.
I loved my old Maxima. That was a fantastic car, and it got me through a lot of years of driving. It got me through college. It got me through my first several years at my job, and that 0 car payment every month is just great.
Mm-hmm. And that's another point right there. You talk about not going out to eat and everything like that, but also, you know, I mean, major expenses like cars. If your car is running fine and you have no payments on it, you know, I guess your advice would be, you know, keep driving it.
If your car is drivable and it's not costing you the equivalent of a car payment every month just to maintain it, drive it. I mean, there's no shame in driving an old car. It's
That's where we got to the point with his car, was that it got so old that we were spending more money maintaining it, or just as much as we would on a car payment. So
Right.
that's when we decided to give it up and get a new car.
Right. But the nice thing is, because you were putting money away, I bet you will probably do a nice down payment on the new car as well. Because, you know, is that what you guys tried? I mean, you were saying you're doing with the air conditioning, even though you didn't have a car payment, you kind of did, because you were putting money into the side.
Right. We were just putting more into savings than we would have been if we had a car payment.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody was to come to you and say, hey, I don't know where to start. To get to where you guys are would not be something that they can do overnight, obviously.
Right. It took multiple years.
So this is definitely a patient process.
Yes.
Talk a little bit just about that, just being able to focus, being able to maintain, and not getting frustrated.
Right. The way to focus on this and the way to stick with it is to put a goal in mind. Our goal is that we would like to be able to retire, and we'd like to be able to retire early and still enjoy our life. We don't want to retire and live paycheck to paycheck. So every month that I'm putting money toward the IRA, or I'm putting money into savings, or putting money in 401, I don't look at that as, darn, I don't have that money to spend this month. I look at that as, maybe I can retire at 55 and still have a fantastic life. So I'm looking to the future. I'm looking to the future, not living in the present as far as money goes. I would rather be more frugal right now and go out to eat less and not have a car payment my entire life, and be able to retire and live a nice life earlier. Get a goal in mind and work for it. It may take you 30 years to get there, but that's what you have to do. Have something to work towards.
Anything else to add?
It's definitely, I would say it can be a drastic change for a lot of people, because I know this is not, I wouldn't say we're typical, because, I mean,
No.
we probably go out to eat maybe 4 times a year. I mean, that's it. We really don't. We take our lunch to work each day, but once you do it for a few months and you just kind of get used to it, it's really not that hard. You just kind of have to dive in and do it and be dedicated,
Right.
The first few months that you're getting used to it.
Yeah. It's just like a diet. If
Yeah.
you do a diet for a month or so, you get used to it. You don't miss the food that you're not eating anymore. The same thing with money. If you get used to spending less, you get used to it, and you don't notice that, hey, I haven't bought 10 video games this month, and I haven't gone out and bought 15 pairs of shoes. You don't notice that you're not buying as much.
I appreciate it. I don't have any other questions, y'all. Thank you so much.